Just trying to see when I go live here so I can see all the comments. So I know it's been a while since I've been live. A lot of things have been going on, but we're going to paint today. I've had a lot of requests to do some live painting. So we're going to do some painting today. And today we're going to paint a butterfly. I am just painting on some canvas. It's a real thin canvas. I'm going to paint on that today. You're not going to need very much paintbrushes, depending on the size that you use. So I just have a 3/4 flat paintbrush, and then I will use a couple smaller ones. Yeah, my paintbrushes, I need some new ones there. And then we're going to use 3 colors of a turquoise bluish color. So I have Laguana. It's just a turquoise that I got from Menards. And I can't say the other one. So that's just about the colors we're going to use. So we're going to start with the darkest color. I've done nothing to my canvas. It's just pulled right out of the plastic. And I'm going to take and just put a stripe across the top with the dark. And then we're going to take the next color. We're just going to go right, strip right down the middle. And then we're going to take the lighter color and we're going to go right across the bottom. And I'm just taking my 3/4 paintbrush. You can use any size. And we're going to start with the light and we're just going to brush it on. Just going to go from edge to edge. Let's paint it on. So like I said, a lot of stuff has been going on. And trying to decide where I want to go, what I want to do. And everybody's seeing my painting and wants to learn, so why not? So I'm just going across all the way before I get up to the next color. You want to start from your lightest to your dark. Okay, I'm not going to rinse my brush. I'm going to go just right into the darker paint and just paint it in. Just going back and forth. May got a little too much paint there. Once again, without wiping or cleaning my brush, I'm going to go right into the next color. This is how you kind of make an ombre effect. And I'm just painting the rest of the canvas. Okay, so this is kind of what we got. It's upside down. You see the 3 colors. Now I'm going to take a clean brush, about the same size. And I want it clean because I'm going to start back at the light. And I'm just going to keep blending this in. So it's all blended in. I'm going to clean my brush this time. Just get a little bit of that paint off. We're going to bring up some more of this lighter paint right up into that. Just blend the dark into the medium and the medium into the light. So you can just see how it all blends in there together. Now I'm going to want this to be completely dry before we start the next step, because we're going to draw on top of it. So while it's drying, I'm just washing my paint. My paintbrushes. I just have a little bit of water with some Murphy's soap to help clean out my brushes. So today we're going to paint a real simple butterfly on top of this canvas. You know, people say, oh, I wish I could draw, I can do this. You know, painting is just drawing, per se, shapes. If you can draw shapes, you can draw and make designs. So today we're going to do a butterfly, which we're going to be using kind of a heart shape, just some lines, an oval, very simple shapes. Okay, now I'm going to dry this real fast. And I'm just using the hair dryer. Can be painted on wood, it can be painted on canvas, pretty much any type surface. So that's almost looks like water, don't it? I kind of trying to do sky. I'm just wiping off the back. I got carried away with my paint here. As y'all know, I use a lot of paint. So, okay, so this is where people get intimidated. They're like, okay, you got a nice background. I can do that part. Now I got to draw my butterfly. It's really not that hard. So I'm just going to use, it's a flat brush and some black paint. And the reason, and I'm just putting some over here on my little palette. Ooh, I think I got too much in there. So I'm going to wet it just a little bit, and then I'm going to wipe off the excess just to get the bristles to stick together. Then I'm going to dip it in my black paint. Just a little bit. Just the tips. You don't need to cover the whole brush. And we're going to start kind of in the middle, and we're going to make an oval. I'm going to do it free-handed, but if this is something you want to paint, you can always find like a coloring sheet or something offline and use it as a tracer. So you could put it on here with some graphite paper underneath it, and then just trace the lines and then fill in. But we're going to, like I said, I'm going to do it free-handed today. So we're going to find out where we want the placement, and we're going to start with the center, the body. And we're just going to hold my paintbrush on end and bring it around in a circle. And we're just going to draw the outline right now. So I'm just using the tips of my brush. And I'm just going to fill him in because we want him all black. And when I bring my brush down, I'm keeping it flat and just rotating it so it's just coming up on the edge. Same when I come up to the top. Let's see if I can do it so. So I'm keeping it flat and I'm just rotating those bristles along to make that curve. You don't need very many paintbrushes. All the paintbrushes I use are a flat brush, a liner brush, and my script brush. Let me see if I can. He is the 30-0 brush I get from Hobby Lobby. He's what I use to do my words. Hey Emily, we are painting a butterfly today. I had a request to do some painting, so far we have the background and the body. So I'm going to keep the same brush to make the wings. So we're going to start on the tip, straight up and down. We're going to bring it out, curve it, wave it a little bit, and join. What I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other. And it don't have to be 100% exact, but you kind of want them to somewhat match. And if you feel like you messed up, it's okay. We're going to widen the lines. We're just getting the outline right now. So then to make the bottom wing, we're just going to come up and curve it around. So you can see where this side of the butterfly I went up a little higher. So we can fix that over here if we wanted to. Let's see. And then we just take our brush on this side and make our lines a little thicker to match. Now I'm just going to trace those lines again to make them a little darker. And a little thicker. And we want them to be a little thicker because we are going to add some detail into them. There we go. And I'm just going to fix this line right here. Just bring them in and taper them. So if you get kind of thick and you want to just kind of bring it in and taper it into the other line. Help blend it in there. Okay, so there's the base, outline base of our butterfly. Now we need to add some details into him. We're gonna take our same black brush. You could go with the smaller brush if you know. And we're just going to make some details. So we're just gonna add kind of an oval shape there. Thank you, Susan. I love to paint. It's so relaxing. I started out watching Bob Ross paint, and I started out actually painting with oil paints. But it went into acrylics, and now I'm liking acrylic better. So like I said, whatever I do on one side, we're going to try to duplicate it on the other, but it don't have to be 100% the same. Go. Let's see. We're going to add another loop right there. What do you like to paint with? What acrylic, oil, everything? I'm just going to make this one a little wider here at the top, so I can add some detail in that. Okay, let's add some dimension down here in the bottom. And you know, you can make this design however you, the butterfly, however you want to make him. All I'm doing is dipping the tips of my paintbrush in the into the paint. Not very much, just a tad bit. And I think I'm going to blend this in like this. Because I want to add some detail into that. Okay. So this is kind of what I have. I know it looks like a mess, but it will look better when we get finished. I'm going to attempt to kind of widen this bottom out a little bit. This typically isn't my normal type painting, but I figured I would try something a little different. Yeah, I like acrylic. Okay, now I'm going to take my little liner brush to make some antennas. Let me see. I can probably paint a gnome next week. This is my goal. I want to be able to come live once a week and do a painting, and then do a simple DIY craft the next day, and come live twice a week. Now I'm going to make little dots on the antennas on the bottom. I'm gonna flip this around so I don't get paint all over me. And to do that, I'm just taking the bottom part of the paintbrush, dipping it in my paint, and I'm just gonna swirl it around right there to give it a little dot. And now I'm gonna let this dry. Let him dry a little bit. I'll clean my brushes. Once again, my water just has a little bit of Murphy's soap in it. I don't try to use a whole bunch of stuff. I try to keep things simple and inexpensive here. Okay, let me blow dry him to help dry him a little bit. be painted on wood. He could be painted on just about anything. I'm painting him on a canvas, and I'm going to show a cute technique. Let me find. I don't know if you guys have palette knives or not, but I have it from doing my oil painting, and I'm gonna get some gold glitter paint. I'm just gonna put some on my palette. I'm just doing this while this is butterfly finishing drying. I think I want the smaller palette knife. We're gonna give this like a scraped look. So I'm just taking my palette knife and dipping the bottom into my paint, and I'm just going to run it across the bottom, the edges of the canvas. And it's going to be different. Like, don't try to get a pattern or a rhyme, because it all depends on the amount of paint, the pressure you hold, the angle you hold your palette at. Depends on what you're gonna get across it. So if you go heavy and, you know, leave some paint up, you can barely push and drag. Another cool technique would be, once you have this on there and you're wanting to add a little more, you can take some of the thick, like what would it be, the glue glitter stuff. I guess I don't have any, but you could put that across on some of these gold pieces to help bring some dimension to it. So that just kind of gives it like the like it's been outside, the paint is scraping off and weathered type look. Okay, so now we're going to decorate our butterfly. And so I'm just going to use my small liner brush, and then I have an orange and a fuchsia color that I picked out to go with the blues I used for the background. And I'm just going to put a little bit in my palette here. You could use any color. I'm thinking I may want to try doing a sunset for the background, you know, some orange and yellows and different things like that. So I'm just going to take the orangey looking color, and I'm dipping the bottom end of my paintbrush, and I'm just going to add some dots. I'm going to attempt it around, okay, the top of the body part. So I'm going to show you another way to do that. I'm going to get a smaller flat brush, get them a little wet, wipe off all the water. I like to wipe off all the excess water just so my bristles are just wet and sticking together. Gonna dip just the bristles in. Like I said in the beginning, it's all about shapes. So we're gonna do a circle. I'm gonna put my tip of my brush down and bring it around and fill it in. So let's see if I can show you. So I have just the tip. I don't know if you can see that, just the tips. And I'm going to lay it down with just the tips touching my board and bring it around as a C. And then I'm going to do a backward C. And now I have a circle. So I'm just going to do circles up the center of his body just like that. Just bring the tip, make a C, make another C, backward C, and fill it in. So, once again, you just touch it down, make a C, and make another C. That's backwards, and fill it in. Very simple, just making a circle. You can make them small by the, you know, the tighter you make your C, or you can make them bigger. You can make them ovalish shape by bringing out your C. So we just added some little circles. Now I'm going to take my thin script brush and we're going to add it in some pink. All we're going to do for this one is follow the curve. I'm getting that gold all over my hand. Just going to follow the curve. And what I do is I just kind of bring it and just let my paintbrush, the paintbrush flow. So then when you bring it around, it kind of like tapers and fades out. Okay. Now I'm going to take some white paint, and I buy my white paint by the gallons, so I put it in a condiment bottle. And this white paint is what I use to paint my walls, so it's just what's left. I'm going to take and dip the end of my paintbrush in again, and we're just going to make some little dots along just the outside. The more you dot, let's see if I can, the more you dot, like the first one's going to be big, and then it's going to gradually get smaller as your paint comes off. So you'll want to keep that in mind as you're putting your dots along the outside. You can decorate these however you want. You can personalize them. You can make them as a sentimental piece. Just keep dotting all the way around how you want it to go. I'm going to take this down the center. Like I said, what I do on one side, I'm going to do again on the other side. If you want your dots to be all the same size, then you dip it, paint it, dip it, put it on your canvas, and just keep dipping in stuff, and that will keep your dots the same size. But I'm not too picky on my butterfly here. If I was doing dotting on my letters, I would definitely make sure I was dipping and having the same size. Now I'm going to do the same thing across the bottom. The bottom wing here, just to give. You can make swirly lines, you can make any per se design you want to. You can make it a mixed media. You can put a stencil over the top. Like you can have a saying, some words. You could make your butterfly go off to the side. Okay, so this is what I have so far. And now I'm going to take some of the color and do it in the bigger spots. So if I take some pink, we'll just take it along this one outer edge. And down the center. And like I said in the beginning, if you didn't catch that, is you don't have to freehand it like I did today. You can find a coloring sheet, a tracer, you know, something like this off the internet, and then get some graphite paper and put it on top of your painting. Trace around these lines and then color it or paint it in. I can't say color, but paint it in. If you're not to the point of drawing by hand yet. Which some of the projects that I do have tracers like that for me to trace onto. I don't do all mine free-handed. Okay. Some of those are little. I'm just adding some more paint to my, there we go. Some more paint to my dots. And these dots do take a little longer to dry. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the orange. And you, instead of using the tip, you can also just use your paintbrush. Let's see. I'm going to just draw some lines up there. Down there. I think I'm gonna take but if you wanted to just use your paintbrush, you get your small paintbrush and you can dab in dots as well with the small tip. Just don't push down very hard. I'm just going straight up, straight down. Okay, I think I need some more white in there. I'm just gonna take a little bit of white and go around my body just with the white brush. And I'm okay by letting it fade and swiggle and okay. So I just made the body so he would stand out a little more. Now I'm going to take the same brush with the white paint and I'm just going to add a dot down each of those orange circles in his body, just to help break that up a little bit. Same thing with his antenna. Just the dot on his antenna. Then I'm going to wipe off quite a bit of paint off my brush. Just lightly touch his antennas, just to give him a little dimension. There we go. There is our ombre butterfly. And I think he is done. Once he dries, I may put a stencil over with some words, but we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoyed that painting today, and I hope to be back next week to paint another project with you, another simple project. If you guys paint a project, be sure to join our community, the Crafty Haven community. It is linked to this page, and post what you made. We would love to see your design. So for now, happy painting, and we'll see you all later on this week.